a player like Ronaldo will get a lot of attention. But if you want to win a game in team sports, it needs to be about the team. And if you are a coach and you don't have passion, stop coaching.
Welcome back to India and welcome back to SFL.
Thank you.
So you recently faced Cristiano Ronaldo's Portugal, a team led by one of the greatest players in the game. From a manager's perspective, how do you prepare a team to compete against an individual who carries both footballing quality and psychological presence?
We kind of never prepare a team to play an individual. So it's a game of collective work, a personality and a character, and a player like Ronaldo will get a lot of attention. But if you want to win a game in team sports, it needs to be about the team. And his teammates are not secondary players, is world-class players all around in these Portuguese teams. So we try to prepare as well tactically against this team, finding out the trends, not to focus too much on individuals, but then like all team sports, you always need to find where there are the strengths in the opponents and be ready for them. But collectively, is more important to be ready against all the team rather than focusing on one person.
When somebody like Ronaldo is in the opponent team, it is very natural for your team, some of the team members to have fear in their mind. So how do you prevent that fear from creeping in? What do you talk in the dressing room? What is the dressing room conversation like?
I think first and foremost, it is knowing what is going to happen. Try to play the game in their head psychologically, so they would be psychologically ready for once it happens. And it quickly, if you are afraid in the beginning, quickly when you see what has been prepared, if that happens, you get confident, you stop being afraid, etc. So that's preparing. Secondly, at this level, I don't think players are afraid of an individual because they, on a routine basis, play world-class players, whether it's in the Premier League in England or whether it's Championship or European competition. So you regularly will face world-class players, so they kind of get used to it. But I understand where the question is coming from. And if something fears you, not only in football, but in life, then you prepare yourself psychologically for whatever. So the better you are prepared, the less scared you are.
So what is the kind of conversation or role that you have to play with the players for such high profile games? Like what is the kind of discussion that generally you have?
Well, it's first of all the game itself, how you think is going to be played, and then you present the threats and the weakness of the opponent, and then you have solutions for their strength, and you have prepared for how you're going to exploit their weakness, and just sell the idea. This is how it's going to be, and then it's more like for individual talks. You are going to face probably this threat instead of having a team talk about those things. And then some players are receptive. Other players really don't care. So it's just about the individual as well.
Good. Understood. Now, again, on this match itself, my next question is that, see, basically the match is about a lot of tactics as well as the mind being strong. So what, according to you, is more important for such high-profile matches, the tactical clarity or emotional clarity?
Again, a big balance, a balance in that question. If you miss one, you'll never become good. So you will have, you must have both tactical and being ready in your head. Bigger games, probably emotions play more part than in like regular games. So sometimes you tend to think this person is mentally stronger and more ready for this big game than somebody else. Normally more experienced players, you will look more to the experienced players for high-profile games where you think psychology will play a part.
Got it. Since the last time you were here, a lot has changed. SFL has added a lot of sports apart from football, and you are all over the news. Your glorious World Cup qualifier campaign is getting a lot of heads done. So, what's your view on all this?
No, it's not. It's first of all nice to be back, seeing all the changes, and the progress. It's growing fast, and it's nice to see that what SFL is trying to do is actually at the moment working. Nice to have all those new sports in the program, and yeah, it's as well nice to have a little break from the World Cup qualifiers and come here to Mumbai and see my friends again.
Yes, we are equally excited. What, according to what you, was the biggest contributor to that win? Because you were on already a pressure situation to win, and then suddenly this was pulled off, right? So,
so the thing for me is that we have been progressive as a team.
Yeah.
So I'm not. I'm a bias for sure.
Yeah.
But I feel like we have been taking good steps. And in that game in Portugal, I felt the team actually started to believe in what we are doing more than they have done before.
Yes.
And on top of that, I think the players now believed in each other.
Wow.
So these two combined will make a good collective performance. When you can take a decision and you trust that your teammate will cover whatever you're doing. So his action and reaction was in that game probably one of the best games we have played.
We all enjoyed watching that game. Yeah. Coming to my the second part of my questions. So your journey is very unique as far as modern football is concerned. You have shifted from dentistry to leading national teams at the highest levels. What was the defining moment where you knew football was no longer just a passion, but your purpose?
Yeah, it was always, football was always passion for me. So it was never a question when the opportunity came that I wanted to do football more than dentistry.
Oh, wow.
So, no, but and the reality is in Iceland, football is an amateur sport. So it doesn't pay much to be a coach in Iceland. But I always did because it was my passion. So I started coaching when I was 17 and I did it alongside playing. I did it alongside studying. I did it alongside working as a dentist. So I always coached as a secondary job because that was my passion. And then I always got bigger and bigger responsibilities in coaching in my club. I was coaching youth for 17 years, under 10s, and I loved it. Then I took the women's team for 5 years, and then I took the men's team for 5 years. So I would say that my hometown club saw some potential and always gave me a bigger and bigger task. And I was careful as well not to jump too early. So I felt comfortable taking the next step.
Mm-hmm.
And after 5 years with his senior men's team in my hometown, and we did really well, qualified 3 years in a row for Europe. For a small village of 4,500 people is massive. The national team president called me and said, "Are you willing to come to be an assistant coach for the national team? We're going to hire a foreigner as a first national team coach."
Mm-hmm.
And I thought this is a really good step for me. I can learn from some coaches. At that time, everybody was talking about Roy Keane was coming to be the national team coach. So I thought it was a good next step in my process as a coach to go and learn. And I was so lucky because they hired Lars Lagerbäck, who is probably the most experienced national team coach living today. And I got to work with him for almost 5 years. And he taught me so much that I still use a lot of his methods and way of thinking. And he taught me just so many things, not only about football, but about life as well. And still a really good friend of mine. So it kind of was not a moment when I thought, oh, I'll do this rather than this. It was always the passion. And slowly, when you become a national team coach, you have some free time. So I did dentistry alongside being an assistant national team coach. it's good to tell it from my mother's perspective, because she worked in a factory, cleaning floors and stuff to pay my rent when I was doing my dentistry. And she was always asking me, Heimir, why are you doing this coaching? Why not
Why
staying
not
and
stay?
doing dentistry? Why are we, always spending time in doing coaching? So that was from her perspective. Why are you spending 6 years in university and then just being coaching football? Because it was not a well-paid thing, but I loved the sport. It was always a passion. So when I could do it as a profession, it was not a decision for me. It was just an easy transition. So that's the story about this, and it's unusual in the world of football, and especially in national teams. Most coaches will have been high-profile players that transition into being coaches. So it's just unusual. And then now I'm working in an environment in Ireland where it's, football has always been a professional
Correct.
sport. They always had high-profile names, etc.
Correct.
So I understand some people will think, why is Ireland hiring an Icelander for one?
Mhm.
And second, he's a dentist. So it looks silly, but it's just how things are in Iceland, and it's different from things in England. But I get it. It's strange when something new happens, and not many coaches at my level have done 17 years of youth coaching women's team for 5 years. So there's a lot of new things. And I understand some will be skeptical about this person. My work is the only thing I have to show for, and I need to work for that.
Oh, it's a the I could completely relate to you saying telling about your family background and how you first studied dentistry, and also basically carried forward your passion, and now today you are at the highest global level in football management, like team management, right? Take forward to the Indian coaches, because they will see how you have basically toiled over the years, kept your passion alive while also doing well on the other side, so that there is earning because the coaches were not paid well, and then eventually reach this stage. So this itself is going to be a very big motivation for the good Indian coaches to take forward. Thanks for that.
I think actually, I think this is a good thing, because if you don't have the name, or if you don't work at a club that will take a chance on you, if you always will need a passion.
Correct.
And if you are a coach and you don't have passion, stop coaching, because the kid needs passionate coach to become passionate about football and loving the game. So we always need passionate coaches, and that's the first thing we should be looking at this academy, to find coaches with passion for the game.
Correct. Now, you've already spoken about your personal journey here to reach to this stage, but can you give me more specifics of what kind of let's say it's a sacrifice or that you had to make to reach to that? So the personal sacrifices that you had to make to reach here.
I could have had much more salaries being a dentist. So you sacrifice money, and you sacrifice a lot of time when you do this. And being a coach, where you have passion and you're full-time coach, a lot of marriages will, for example, be broken, because even though you're at home, your mind is somewhere else. So it's difficult to live with a coach. But I've been lucky because all my family is in it with me. So no, it's a lot of sacrifices you need to do if you want to go all the way, and if you want to take the chance of growing, you always need to be investing your time in learning and looking at others, talking to others. And I've been lucky with the people around me, both selecting good people around me, but also people that I have been working for have helped me grow. And I like to be in a growth environment, and I like to have people around me that know more about things than me, so I can grow myself. And that's a tricky thing, but again, that is sacrifices you need to make. You need to go outside your comfort zone and accept that you don't know it all. it's sometimes difficult for coaches
Yes.
to have
Yes.
others that
Yeah.
need to give you advices and grow. And that's why some coaches will always surround themselves with yes people.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I've been so lucky with both the coaches around me, the owners of the clubs, and the people around the national teams, and just the staff that have helped me grow as a coach, learning new things. And I'm not afraid to say, you know more than me about these things. Can you please assist me in this or help me or teach me? And I like to be in that environment. The day you stop learning is the day you start becoming worse and others will succeed you.
Now shifting focus to football again. Yeah. So with FIFA expanding the World Cup, there's a lot of optimism around this football opportunity for emerging countries. India is also one of the emerging countries. From your experience, what must countries like India do to convert this opportunity into real progress?
Yeah, I think number one, it's correct way of thinking. Yes, it creates opportunities, but it doesn't fast forward progress. So you need to invest in the game. I think India needs to invest in the game. And by investing, I don't mean infrastructure. I mean invested in coaching, education, in coaching culture, and investing in developing talents. I think that's the most important thing for India at this stage. Because of numbers, statistically, if you do it correctly, statistically, it could probably we could probably say in 10 years' time, India will be in every World Cup after this one. But it needs investment and it needs time to grow the game in the country. So doing it correct from the start is the most important thing, rather than investing in infrastructure and stuff. That will help, but nothing replaces good coaching and good players' education, etc. So it's always it needs to invest in time and need to invest in education. And on top of that, of course, infrastructure in India is not good in regards to football, so infrastructure needs to improve as well.
So what mindset change do academies, parents, coaches, and educational institutes need to do for India to basically reach that stage?
Yeah, I think that's universal. If you're a parent, you see the world through your kid's eyes and through the perspective of your kid, not the whole picture or the big picture. uh, and I think what we need more is patience, because talent doesn't grow overnight. Talent is developed by continuous work, a lot of repetitions, and it's the 10-hour rule from all the personal growth books. And you need to spend a lot of time doing things only like passing or receiving or technical things. You need to repeat and repeat and repeat, be a master at something. And you cannot skip steps to become a winner. You cannot skip steps. And developing a good elite football player takes time, and it needs a lot of repetitions, and it needs a lot of passion from the coach and the kid to become an elite player. And winning a football match when you're a 8-year-old or a 10-year-old doesn't say anything about if you become a good footballer in the future. So stop thinking about winning games. Just focus on developing the player or the individual, and that can create a good footballer in the future. So don't skip steps. Don't try to hurry, and don't think about winning or losing when you are young, because it's not about that.
Very, very valid inputs. I think there's a lot to take for all the academies and parents and coaches. A tricky question on parent psychology, because you have dealt with youth footballers elsewhere as well. So, from your experience globally, what is one well-intentioned behavior of parents that actually limits a child's development? So, the parent is feeling good about it, but it is limiting the child's development.
Yeah. So it's universal. Now I can't talk about India or what problems you have here, but I think it's universal because we as parents, we will look only through our child's eyes and how he is doing and what he needs, etc. And we tend not to see the big picture. In general, it's pressure. Don't pressure the kid at a young age. This game should be fun. Shouldn't be about winning or losing. Shouldn't be about anything else than having fun, enjoy the game. And then if you think your kid can be something more in the sport, then allow his personal growth to happen without pressure. So hopefully the environment the kid is in will help him grow as a player, as a person. And then again, I'm just touching again on, it's not about winning or losing. It's about developing the kid in the best way possible and allowing that to happen. Winning or losing matches at the age of 8, 10, 12, it really doesn't matter.
Yeah. I think it's the learning journey that is very important.
Because parents normally will watch games, but not the training sessions.
Yes.
So if it would be vice versa and they would only come to the trainings, they would actually be happy if the player is developing on the trainings. But he could be playing against better opponents, and that has nothing to do with his personal growth or development.
Cool. This is your second visit to India and with SFL, right? So compared to your first visit, what differences do you see in Indian grassroots players today? Or you don't see any difference?
Yeah, it's 1 year, so it's not a big difference. What I've seen in the sessions, the SFL sessions I've seen now compared to last year is corrected some things we saw a year ago, which is really good. And I think there's more kids in the program. That's what I've seen. Good in a way that people are recognizing it's a good project, but second, maybe not good because it's a lot of numbers. So the more numbers you have, the less time the coach has with each and every individual. So good, bad things, and we just try to streamline what we see, and we try to bring in what we know from our culture, which sometimes doesn't apply, and that's just cultural things. Sometimes it applies, sometimes we can help, sometimes we can learn. So it's just give and take, and we try to give what we think is correct to improve the program.
You have been in Qatar and worked there with the club, right? So Qatar's national team's rise in a relatively short time surprised many. From your perspective, what did they do right, and what lessons should countries like India realistically adopt from there?
Yeah, the first thing that surprised us when we went to Qatar is how much they invested in infrastructure. Obviously, they were building all these crazy, nice World Cup stadiums. So I was there the 3 years before the World Cup was played in Qatar. And it was just massive how much the country invested in infrastructure, not only the stadiums, the training facilities, and all the national team needed space camps and etc. So it was a lot of desert changed into grass football pitches and a lot of investment. But what impressed me more than all these crazy nice infrastructure things was their investment in coaching education for a long time leading up to this. So people think that this was money spent in infrastructure, but it was also spent in developing the talent in Qatar. So they brought in leading coaches in youth coaching. You know, they took the best leaders from the best clubs and best programs to help their system to develop. And they took the best kids to Aspire, best football kids into Aspire, and did 2 times a day training and education program and everything for them. So then they maximized their potential and what they had. They absolutely maximized everything. And that was impressive to see. And that's the reason they obviously played in the World Cup in Qatar because they hosted it. But now they've qualified. Yeah. And that's really impressive for such a small country like Qatar. And again, I'm definitely a biased in this saying that if others would do the same, if India would do the same, 100%, they will qualify for every World Cup.
Correct. My next question is on technology and sports, right? So, football historically has been more analog, human touch based sports, but companies like us and a lot of other companies, new age companies, are trying to integrate technology with sports coaching and also. So, from your experience, uh, what is your thought on this, and what are the aspects where you feel that technology can actually basically aid coaching development and player improvement? And also, what are the areas where you think that technology should not basically intervene in the coaching part?
Yeah, technology is here to stay no matter what. It will always be there. So we just need to work together with the technology. That's the first kind of way of thinking. So you should always try to use what you can to improve. But what we need to be assured of is that technology doesn't take over the eye to see things, etc.
Are there some areas where you see that technology can really help?
Yeah. It's already helped a lot to develop the game. The game is faster and faster. The structure of teams, the tactics of the teams are getting better and better because the knowledge and the analysis and all the technology you have is helping the tactical side of the game, especially. A long time at the fitness side has been improving, and that's again thanks to technology. We can see the load of the players, or we maximizing his fitness level on the game day, so everybody is fitter and more ready for the next game than before. That's technology again helping us. So it can help you and assist us to improve the game, but it's just the thin margin when you stop thinking and the analysis and the technology is thinking for you. We should be careful there, and especially in players' development.
Yep. Because of this balance in your life, in your personal life, it is your wife being there on the football side, your kid being there. We are also very fortunate. So I don't know, not many people would know that it's not just you who has come to India this time. Your family, your wife, your younger kid, both are also here. Your club head coach is also here. I think your elder son could not make it because he just became
a father,
father for the first time. Otherwise, he would have been also. Yeah. So it's a whole family which is basically looking at the development for young footballers at SFL, obviously guided by you. And it's very fortunate for us and the country that you're guiding us. And I look forward to hosting you many more times here. And I'm sure that we will produce an international player with your support and your family's support. Thanks, Heimir.
Thank you.